Hey guys, welcome back. Today I feel like gawking over my plants because it's summertime and they all look so good right now. So we're gonna be looking at the top 7 plants in my collection that I cannot stop obsessing over. Let's get into it. Okay, so this first plant comes at no surprise because it's literally my baby. I talk to this thing like it's my child. That's probably why it looks so good. But my Alocasia Jacqueline. I showed you guys this briefly in my last video and I had to like tie her up because she was about to snap. But I actually grew her from scratch, meaning that I got her and I transferred her to Semihydro and then she lost all of her leaves. I've done this multiple times with Alocasia Jacqueline and I'm praying this one doesn't die. Let me show you what she's in. I'm gonna take the tie off. I'm about to die of a heat stroke. I can feel it. Hold on one second, I need to turn this damn fan up. But I switched her to this self-watering pot. Oh, yay, it's not falling over. But I switched her to this self-watering pot when I first got her. And I was really nervous because my last Alocasia Jacqueline, I switched to the same self-watering pot and it died. And if I would have remembered that that happened at the time that I switched this to this exact self-watering pot, I probably would have opted for something different. Maybe one of my orchid pots that have bigger holes and instead of slits, because the slits make it really hard for the roots to get through and then they start rotting sometimes. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. The roots are just, you guys probably can't see that well, but the roots are just now starting to make their way down through the self-watering little holes down there. And she's currently in a mixture of leca, pon, and then there's fluval at the top. I've been wanting to remove the fluval for a while, but I mean, if she's not dying, I'm not gonna do anything. Because this has been a hard plant for me to keep alive in the past, so once she's doing really good like this, I kind of just leave her alone. It honestly took several months for me to grow this plant to be, let me put my leg down so before you guys see my leg hairs. I'm going to Florida in a few days and I'm not shaving shit until the day before. But anyways, it took several months to get this plant like this. If you guys have plants, I'm sure your plants have taught you patience by now. Before I had plants, let me stop, I still don't have any patience, especially for bullshit. But with my plants, I have the most patience ever, especially the Alocasia Jacqueline. Not that it's a slow grower, but if you transfer an Alocasia to Semihydro, it probably won't be okay for a while. What I usually do once the plant loses all its leaves is I reduce the watering and I leave it in the greenhouse where it's wet most of the time. And then when it gets too big, I just take it out and try to move it to room humidity. So once it's made it out of the greenhouse and into regular room humidity, it put out this ginormous leaf. In the greenhouse, it put out this leaf right here, which I thought was really big when it first came out, but then this leaf came out and took all of the spotlight. Like, look at how large this is. I'm shocked. I do have a few smaller leaves at the bottom that are actually so beautiful. This one just came out, that's why it looks so soft and a little bit greenish yellow. But this is my current top favorite #1 plant right now. If you know me in real life, I never stop talking about this plant. I'm so obsessed. And if it dies, I will be devastated because when my last Alocasia Jacqueline died, bruh, I was having dreams about that shit. Like, I literally just couldn't get over it. So to have this Alocasia Jacqueline, ooh, is that too tight for you, girl? Are you good? I think she's good. But to have this Alocasia Jacqueline grow back for me the way it did, I'm just so happy. Like, you have no idea. Like, I honestly can't even believe that I have this plant. Like, it's just so beautiful. Like, I'm so thankful that the plant gods have blessed me with a beautiful Alocasia Jacqueline. I mean, I know that I grew it and I take care of it and I can take the credit for it looking so good, but thank you. I could literally talk about my Alocasia Jacqueline forever, so let's move on. Let's move on to a plant that's close to me, which is my Monstera albo. One of my Monstera albo specifically has gotten extremely big. Maybe because I haven't chopped it. Have I chopped this one? No, I haven't chopped this one. Have I? Guys, I gotta back up for this one. Hold on. If you see leg hairs, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Guys, look at how big this is. Like, are you actually joking? Hold on a second. Let me back all the way up so you can really see. Look at how big this plant has got. What in the world? I mean, the last leaf that I put out, this one right here, it's the biggest one. Like, it's literally huge. Look at my hand. Yeah, it's huge. The only fenestration I have on this plant is this leaf right here. You can see. It might be too far. Am I too far? No, probably not. And I was really hoping that the leaves that came out after were fenestrated at least, but they're not. It's okay though, because she's really, really growing. But this plant is just doing so well. We recently repotted it into I don't want it to hit the freaking ceiling fan. But we recently repotted it into this big self-watering pot, cover pot. And she drinks a lot of water because the moss pole's all the way deep down in there. But I'm just so proud that this plant is growing properly. Every time I have a monstera on, or any plant on a moss pole, and I chop it, it does start to grow really wonky. So I haven't chopped this plant at all. I think this was just a propagation I put in here and it's grown up the pole. And I don't plan on chopping it because it's just doing so well. I did stop propagating my plants as much as I used to because I really want to grow beautiful big plants. Not saying that I won't be propagating, because sometimes you just get that itch. I'm really happy that I never chopped this one because she looks so good. I really wish that there were more fenestrations on this plant, but I do forget to water this one quite a bit because it always needs water. The only way I would actually chop this plant down is if it started to become less and less variegated, because not trying to grow a large regular looking monstera. Remember when I had so many regular monstera deliciosa? I have a few. I still have about 2 of them. I'll show you guys when I do my plant collection update. I'm sorry I haven't done that, but I've been busy. I'm literally going to Florida in 4 days, and I'm leaving all my babies for 5 days, and I really hope they don't die because I'll be devastated. I think I'm just gonna fill up the pots as much as I can because they can take it, especially the plants that have moss poles on them, and just hope for the best, honestly. If I become concerned, my niece lives right downstairs, I'm gonna call her and be like, please go water by Pilea Galaka. She's thirsty, I can feel it. I feel like, hold on, I can't breathe, I just ran up the stairs. Ugh. My brother's here with his dog that's obsessed with me, so I ran outside real quick to go say hi to my little baby. It's too hot for this shit today. Y'all lucky I love you. Oh my god! I have 5,000 subscribers. Thank you guys. What the heck? 5,000 of y'all really fuck with your girl? But seriously, thank you so much. Honestly, this is all just for funsies. Love talking about my plants. Love talking to you guys about my plants. I still can't breathe, I'm sorry. I need to get back in the gym. Okay, back to plants. Okay, look at how crazy those roots look. And I was gonna say that if you have your plant on a moss pole and like you forget to water it, I feel like it'll be fine because it's always, I mean, as long as the moss pole's wet. I feel like I really don't have to monitor the water levels on this plant. I mean, I don't leave it unwatered for weeks on end, but if it doesn't have water for like 3 days, I feel like it'll be fine because it's already so established, you know what I mean? So if you have a plant, especially a monstera or a plant that gets huge aerial roots, put that shit on a moss pole. You wanna see it do crazy things? You wanna see it do magic? Put it on a moss pole. Put it on, what's on that? Dog hairs. Put it on a moss pole. Okay, I'm done with this plant. So beautiful though, and we're only through 2 plants, so I need to, because I got other shit to do today. I'm going to Florida in 4 days. Oh, we can do a small one. My Hoya calistophylla. You guys remember when I got this plant a few months ago? Could have been in January, don't even know. Was it? I don't remember when I got these plants. I literally have dog hairs all over me already. But my Hoya calistophylla, I'm literally obsessed with this little plant. Why is it so cool looking? And you know what's even more cool? Like when I first bought this plant, I thought the print on it, I thought it was just gonna be like this. Like this leaf is flat, completely flat, no texture whatsoever. But, scooch, scooch, scooch. The leaves, look at this. These newer leaves that I've grown on my own, having her in Semihydro, are actually textured. Like there's bumps on here. Like it feels exactly the way it looks, which is super freaking cool. I don't know what it is and why the old leaves that they came with are completely flat and then mine are textured, but they are, and they're so freaking cool. I really try to keep an eye on this plant because I don't want to lose any leaves, but look at how, this is a good shot right here. Look at how nice this plant is. I was in one of the Facebook groups and I saw somebody had one of these plants and it's huge. And I want mine to be huge too. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm currently trying to do, is grow this plant out. Literally can't breathe today. She's in a mixture. I don't think I completely ripped her out of soil. I think I just took her out of the pot that she was in and then filled up the rest of this pot with fluval. Should probably change that soon. She probably needs a repot. She's put out a lot of leaves since I transferred her to this little cup. And look at all the new leaves that are coming out. Look at all the new little leaves. I realized when Hoya are putting out new leaves, you have to keep them watered or they're going to drop, which really sucks, especially if it's a Hoya that's really slow growing. It's happened too many times to me, which is so annoying, especially to my Hoya obovata. Like if she's putting out a new leaf and she goes dry for one day, the leaf is gone. And I'm just like, okay. But yeah, my Hoya calistophylla. At first when I bought these plants, the Hoya calistophylla, and I forgot the name of the other one. It kind of looks like this too. But I was like, I don't really like them that much, but now I do. Because they're growing new leaves and it's super, super cool. That little tiny leaf right there, guys, you see that little tiny leaf? Yeah, I'm sure when I do my plant collection update, the thing is gonna be huge and I can't freaking wait. I think this is a Hoya that I actually want to put on a trellis. I had a video trellising my Hoyas before and then I literally removed all those trellises because I didn't like them. And I kind of still don't like the trellises that I have, but I have one in my mother plant of my Hoya obovata, which I'll show you next. But this one is definitely one that I want to put on a trellis because I really think it would look good with one of those like little trellises, the little brown bamboo tan trellises. Yeah, she's going on one soon. But yeah, my Hoya calistophylla is definitely a favorite that I've been obsessing over because it just looks like a little dinosaur to me. Anyways, let's go grab my Hoya obovata. BRB! Okay guys, this is my mother plant of my Hoya obovata. Let me back it up so you can see the whole thing. It's literally dripping all over me. Probably has little bugs coming out of the water. We transferred her to this pot so long ago, and I promise you when I did, it didn't grow for like 6 months. Probably even longer if I'm being honest. And before it put out a new leaf, it bloomed. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you saw when I posted all the little blooms. And she has 4 peduncles. She has one right there, and then she has 2, 3, 4. The one right here currently has 2 little flowers on it left, which is just so cute and exciting. Guys, literally I tasted them and they're sweet. And I should have known better because I have allergies. I shouldn't be tasting no shit like this, but I just had to. I was so curious. Oh, the camera's dying. Hold on, I'll be back. I'll be right back, I promise. I'll be right back, I swear, I promise, I swear, I promise, I swear. Okay, I'm back. Anyways, my Hoya obovata still has 2 little flowers on it. And honestly, guys, when I first like started getting Hoya, I've had this Hoya obovata for like 4 years, by the way, and it never bloomed. When I first learned that Hoyas actually bloom, the Hoya obovata is the one that I really wanted to bloom, or the Hoya serpens because they have similar looking flowers, I think. Does it? I don't know. I just knew that the Hoya obovata had these little white flowers with a pink inside, and I needed to see that. And I finally got to. But being honest, my favorite stage of the peduncle was when they had the stars before they burst. They are just freaking adorable, and they were pink and just so pretty. I loved it so much. Definitely the biggest highlight of my plant journey was having a Hoya bloom for sure, and growing my baby, my allocated Jacqueline. One of you guys just ordered some clippings that I have propagated from her. Ow. Just know that it came off of her, and it probably is gonna bloom. It's probably gonna bloom because, you know, it's an old plant and it's ready. It's ready, I swear. My next favorite is another plant that I've had for quite some time. It's my Philodendron Burl Marks Fantasy. She always looks the same, I swear. Every time I show you guys, she looks the exact same. But she does have these new leaves that just came out at the top. If you guys can see these leaves, they just came out and they're actually a little bit decent size, I'd say. But I really need to extend the moss pole so I can actually get them to size up. I don't think I've ever extended this moss pole besides one other time. I do usually end up cutting the top off and just propagating those. I literally have like 7 Burl Marks Fantasy right now. But this is the mother and I love her so much. And one of the reasons why I really love this plant is because it's very, very resilient. This plant will go days without water. Well, before I notice that it doesn't have water, and she's fine. Like, literally doesn't skip a beat. I don't think she has water right now, if I'm being honest. Hold on, let me get her out. Because she's in this little cover pot, but she's actually in this tiny pot because Burl Marks Fantasy root system, very slow growing. Don't even know how it's alive, honestly. Haven't checked the root system since I put it in this pot, but she's been repotted so many times since I've owned this plant. And she's just always so good. Look at, no water, I promise you. She has no water in there. Look how dry that looks. And she's just still so good. And I'm telling you, it's because she's on a moss pole. The moss pole is usually wet because, like I said, I used to put leca at the bottom of my poles just to avoid the moss sucking up all the water. And then when I accidentally planted all my plants with moss all the way to the bottom, I was like, oh no. I have to water a lot more, but I think it's actually doing my plants good. So I'm not gonna change it. But yeah, this plant is very resilient. And I do have a few listed in the shop if you want one, but the leaves are definitely not as big as these ones, but I'm sure you guys are smart. I'm sure you can grow it to a point where it looks just like this one. We're gonna check on her root system. Ooh, I almost just ripped the leaf off. We're gonna be checking on her root system soon because it's been so long, but I did want to show you the back of the pole to see if you can see any roots. Let's just take a little look. Can you see any roots? I know she's rooted in a few spots. When I first got this plant, it was on a plank, and I like that for a while. I like to see the little roots growing to the side, but the plank is too hard to keep wet. Like, come on now. When it's time to be spraying a plant every day, my plants need to be self-sufficient sometime. 0 minutes? Are you kidding me? This is definitely one of my favorite plants because it's so easy to take care of. It might not grow the way I want it to all the time, but it grows nevertheless, so I'm happy with it. My next plant that I'm obsessing over, a Hoya Matilde. I feel like the Hoya Matilde is so nostalgic for me because I remember when I first started my channel, I could literally see exactly what my living room looked like at the time in my head when I look at this plant because I bought a 2 to 3 leaf cutting on Etsy years ago. If you guys scrolled through my videos, you'll be able to see, or maybe I'll link it for you. But I did have a Hoya Matilde in the past and it died expeditiously as soon as I got it. And I was really sad and I never bought another Hoya Matilde again because I thought it was a me problem. Fucking dog hairs, bro. Fucking dog hairs. But this one, a subscriber actually sent me a few months ago, I think back in February, and I switched it to moss. And a lot of you guys were in the comments saying not to switch it to moss. Moss is my plant savior right now, so. I switched it to moss and it grew beautifully, and then I switched it to Semihydro, which I was definitely nervous to do because, I don't know, little Hoya cuttings getting switched to Semihydro is just not always it just doesn't always work out. So to see this one thriving and growing, I do think it has spider mites right now, but to see that it's actually growing and trailing, I just can't believe it. I'm just so excited and so happy. It's so cute. It kind of looks like a little mini Hoya obovata to me. Like if a Hoya obovata had a mini, this would be it. And the Hoya obovata is just so cute to me. I love that freaking plant so much. It's so adorable. I love anything with a round leaf. It's just so cool. Like, why is it round? These are pretty round. Some of them are like a little, what shape is that? Oval? Some of them are a little bit oval, but it's just so cute and splashy. I freaking love this plant. When I do end up repotting these Hoya, I'm gonna put this on a trellis as well because it just looks like it needs one. If you guys have really, really cute trellises that you use that are like bamboo or wooden looking, send them my way or tag them below because I need them as soon as possible. I think these plants are gonna need a repot soon. Or maybe I just want to repot them soon. Now for my plant that I'm literally in love with. I mean, I'm just kidding, Jackie. But the other plant that I love, that's not my alocasia Jacqueline, Pilea glauca. Are you actually joking me? Yeah. I got this plant on my birthday, April 7th, and it wasn't trailing at all. It was just like a little mini afro on the top because the pot is actually so tiny. And just look at this thing. I know I posted a lot on my Instagram story, but like, look at her. She's so luscious, so beautiful. Look at how bluish green the leaves are. Like, it's literally the best plant ever. I love this plant so much. I've had it multiple times and I've tried to switch it to Semihydro a few times, but it just never again. Unless I repot it. When I repot it, I can repot it around fluval. That's the only thing I'd probably do. I don't think I'm gonna put this plant in like leca or pon. It's not gonna work out. And all you really need to know about it is that she's thirsty as hell because she needs a repot. My mom calls this the bad hair weave plant. And I'm literally obsessed with this plant. It's very nostalgic to me as well because when I first had plants, like before I even moved into this apartment, this was one of my first plants as well. Not this exact one, but I had another one. So she's very nostalgic. I really hope she blooms because this plant does bloom really pretty little orange flowers. So hopefully when I get back, after she gets a little neglect, because she gets a lot of love. But that does bring me to the end of today's video. Give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Etsy at Palace of Propagations if you want to shop my plants. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Mother of Plants if you haven't already. Until my next video, bye guys.